So now we're gonna talk about Miss Marvel with spoilers, everything. Spoilers are that like big. But if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Come back here and you know, let's talk about it a little bit in the comments. For your live, let us know what you thought. If anybody's hanging out with us in the chat still, I know we had a couple people
Lost you again, huh?
getting a.
There we go. Your sound.
I'm not the only one.
Oh,
Okay,
I saw.
all right.
No,
Okay.
my app is acting funny. It keeps like refreshing for some reason. It's really annoying.
Yeah, my volume was going in and out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so this show, Miss Marvel, is right off the bat before the episode even came out. It was getting a lot of hate. So what were you guys' initial thoughts of the show? Did you like it? Did you hate it? You know, were the leaks or other people's talking crap about it affect your thoughts on it? So, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
yeah.
Did I get ahead of myself again?
No. I was gonna pass it down and over around. So.
Oh, okay. Well, when they announced it, I was behind the idea just because I love the MCU, so I'm gonna give anything MCU related a shot, no matter what. And you know, it's so unfortunate that these people are like slamming it or review bombing it and stuff like that, and then have the audacity to call themselves fans. You know, whether it be because the character is they slam it for being Marvel's going woke, or it's like, you know, which seems, the word woke seems to be thrown around so much that I'm starting to think it just translates to it's not a white guy.
That's exactly.
Yeah. So imagine how these guys are going to react. Imagine how these guys are going to react when the X-Men reboot comes out. But but no. I thought and you know, I was never really like a huge Miss Marvel reader. I think I consider myself knowing like just enough about the character. But I really I loved this first episode. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the energy it had. It was very there were parts that reminded me, especially with like the hand-drawn animatics that would pop up, kind of reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse. You know, there were even elements that kind of reminded me of John Hughes films like 16 Candles and that sort of thing. The overall vibe of the show, like I loved the character of Kamala Khan. I thought what's the actor Iman Vellani, I think is her name.
Yeah, like Iman.
Oh, she was great. I love her energy, and I think she really captures Kamala. You know, and like I said, I'm only going off of you know, like the Avengers video game, and you know, what couple issues of Miss Marvel that I flipped through. So, and I like that they came out with it now. And they're really going into like the Avengers and heroes fandom within the MCU. Mm-hmm. I think this is a pretty good time for it. And we've never really seen like a whole lot of that, save for maybe like the scene at the end of the first Avengers, you know, when you know, they're interviewing people about them saving the world. So I like that they're delving into that. I know that they did kind of change up her powers a little bit from the comic, but I think well, I'm gonna see how that plays out, because in the comics, if I remember correctly, her powers came from the Inhuman gene, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Terrigenesis, I think, or whatever it's called. You know.
Yeah.
Terrigenesis.
But I like the conflict between Kamala and her family. I like how they're not like necessarily villainizing her family. They just believe in tradition, which is cool. You know, it's not like they're like bad people. Even her friend Bruno's like, you know, your mom's not Darth Vader. That's a line that stuck out for me. But I loved it. I loved the first episode. I loved the vibe. You know, it really hooked me in, dare I say, from the opening scene, once the Marvel logo cut to her, you know, like drawing and making stuff for her YouTube channel. I thought it was, I was very happy with it. I actually watched it during breakfast this morning while I was getting ready to go to work, and was almost kind of late for work because I sat down and finished the last of it. But I liked it, and they did make a reference to one of my favorite one of my favorite restaurants or post drinking restaurants, Halal Guys.
Yeah.
And they called them out for their ridiculous overcharging for extra sauce, which is funny.
Yeah, it's funny. My girlfriend heard that and she's like, "Oh, they do that." I was like, oh, "Okay,
Yeah,
that's funny."
it's kind of worth it though. The sauce is pretty bomb.
Yeah.
But those are my thoughts on it. I was really happy with it. It really left me wanting more. It really I like how I loved its energy and its vibe and how it jumped right into it.
Wow. Yeah. What about you, Mar?
I liked it.
What you got?
It wasn't bad. It was definitely again, I only know her through like playing, the MCU video games and stuff. And from what I know of all that, like what she brought into there, they really nailed it, I guess, in a way. She's quirky. She's like a nerd, like the rest of us that love comics and we love just everything about superheroes and stuff, and I love that about it. Like they had their Avenger Con thing that they were so looking forward to go to, which would be ultimately our Comic Con or whatever, like different cons that we look forward to every year, and the cosplays and all that, and it was something that she wanted to do, and she even cosplayed herself as Captain Marvel, and I thought that was really cool. She was idolizing her superhero. But yeah, no, I thought the whole thing was just really cool. And she did a great job. Second to her was Bruno. He did a really good job too. Like, I love their planning scene on how to get there, which totally just went out the window. But I thought that whole thing was funny. We'll do this and that, and he's like, the only thing here is we'll just do one of these things that you said.
Get on the bus.
Yeah, get on the bus.
Just get on the bus.
That was it. But no, it was really cool, and I like this that they're bringing this into it. It's different. I really didn't expect that this would be one of their characters that they would do, but it kind of like what Brandon said. I like that they're doing it now. Maybe we see all the younger characters like Miles Morales come in now that they're bringing the younger side of the Marvel. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but I mean, I thought that was kind of cool.
Sure. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I thought this was good timing for it. And even with this first episode, I'm really looking forward to seeing Kamala in the Marvels next year.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. And in terms of what you were saying, Martin, being nerds, like us, I think that's one of the reasons it kind of, I think that's the reason I connected with it right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, that's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, I mean, because in the comic, as far as I know, I think that she is a fan, and
she is. She's a huge Carol Danvers fangirl.
Yeah, and then I know. Yeah, I know Carol Danvers gave her, because Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel with the black with the S on it, and then she became Captain Marvel, and then she gave the title to Kamala. So now you have a Captain Marvel and a Miss Marvel, when before it was just the same person, different costumes. But they even kind of talked something about that. Was like was it like I don't say slutty, but like what the other girls are wearing kind of thing, and like it kind of like a throwback to like the original Miss Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, because she was basically a leotard, like every Marvel comic book character in the 90s, women characters at least.
Every woman,
everything was skin tight, half naked kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of like realistic, from coming from a parent, especially from like a traditional household, but also a throwback to the actual character itself of Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, however you want to call it. But But yeah, I don't know. What about you, Brian? What are your initial thoughts on it?
It gave me Spider-Man Homecoming vibes.
Mhm.
You guys remember that? Because it's the high school, it's the having the nerd, it's the not fitting in, and how you deal with that, and how that really creates who you are, and learning to be comfortable with who you are. I mean, I think that's everybody's journey, so that kind of relates to everyone. Even if you're cool in high school, you still have to be comfortable being who you are. So I think that's what everyone can take from that. I thought the relationships that with having your small core friends is another thing that helps everyone relate. Because high school gets big when you go from grammar school to high school. So
To high school,
really
yeah.
focus on your few friends. And I love that. I love that focused on her family, and her neighborhood, and how it is, how they know everybody, and her having to have a formal dress, and her mother, how she thinks of her mother. That's so.
Yeah.
Right now, Kamala and her mother are having problems, but obviously Kamala's mother and her mother had problems because she doesn't know, she's crazy. And that dynamic is something you see all the time. So I just felt this whole first episode was very relatable.
Yeah.
I think that's important for an origin story, that you can relate to the character and start to care about that character.
Mhm.
And I think they've done a good job with this first episode, really trying to flush that out. The powers just kind of were unreally. They didn't really tell me what the powers really were.
Yeah,
So I was like, it was just kind of just like thrown out there, but you don't really know what the hell's going on. And then when you look back at the YouTube or whoever was filming it, I still had no idea what the hell was going on. I still don't know where any powers are. It didn't make any sense.
She's
But-
like Elastic, right? Or something. She's like Elastigirl, kind of in a way, right?
In the
Isn't she?
comic.
From what I know, in the comic, right?
Yeah, but I think she's
But
able
in
to
this, thing,
felt
it
the
changed
force of something like that. A force
Yeah.
that's able to do these things.
it.
But
Mimic that though.
yeah, but it's very undetermined, undefined. And I think they need, especially with the origin story, you really needed to define what is going on. But
Yeah.
I mean, you could wait. You can leave it for episode 2, but they had to do that early on because you got to catch people early. And I don't know if they did that. But
Yeah.
besides that, it was a 50-minute show, and it felt like it was 30 minutes. So I mean, that means the timing is pretty good. That means things were happening. Nothing was dragging too much. I understood the father, understood the mother. You see, the father's trying to be that blocker for her daughter, but he also still wants to make sure his daughter is safe. So that's why they're making these rules. Everyone, I think you can understand where the parents are coming from, as long as you understand where Kamala's coming from, and the brother. That's another good element to it. I just felt like they just did a very good job of describing a family, what the baby is growing up and how they get treated, and all elements they've done a good job of describing. Now I just hope that they get the superhero part right.
Same.
Yeah.
And
I think they will. I mean, as far as I know, from what people have already been saying, it's kind of like Green Lantern more esque, where they wear something and they can make things with their mind, kind of, like obviously like Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're gonna tie it into cosmic stuff. Is it gonna be powered by one of the Infinity Stones, kind of like how Captain Marvel was, or stuff like that? I feel like they can really kind of explore it a lot. There's rumors that it's part of something else. I guess like these bracelets were in the comic book or something else. So I wonder if they're just gonna like merge a couple stories into one, like kind of good one. But I don't mind it. I mean, people losing their mind for it. I thought it was good. She the main character, the girl who played Kamala, she was adorable.
she was.
I loved her. I thought she did it so well because, like, one, she is a nerd for the Marvel in real life, and she has to play a nerd for the superheroes in the show. So it's like you can tell, like, it kind of like she's able to cross that over, like, which should be fairly easy. But I just thought she was like everything with her, like her being so like starstruck, about those heroes, and then the whole family aspect of it. It was like, this seems real. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like not. I mean, until the end when she gets the powers, I'm like, that could be a real story, real life. You know what I mean? Like up until she gets the powers. But I think the powers gonna be kind of cool because when she first gets it and she like falls back and she sees stuff. Like I rewound it and paused it. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, because I rewound that a couple times myself, and I was trying to get couldn't get a handle on what exactly it was, but I'm sure that's something that will be explained. Like Brian said, hopefully sooner rather than later. Hopefully in this next in the follow up episode next Wednesday. So we'll see.
Yeah. So I'm excited. After like reading about all the things about it, hearing everyone talk about it and saying like, oh, it's not made for me, it's made for a preteen and blah blah blah.
I don't think this is very much like Hawkeye. It's very much like Hawkeye.
I think
Kate Bishop is the same. It's the same. It's because Captain Marvel is better than Hawkeye. I mean, that's the best way. Are you really saying the whole Hawkeye series was good? It was fine. Hawkeye's just not that interesting of a character. Captain Marvel's a much interesting character. And the whole Kate Bishop was fine. She was funny. She was entertaining too. I just think this girl is more relatable for us right now because this is really her featured role. So we don't see her and see as something else. We see her as just this role, which I think that helps a lot too.
Yeah, one of the unfortunate things with fans or people who unfortunately call themselves fans at times, we've lost all concept of patience. And people, they're so quick. Unfortunately, sometimes we're so quick to write something off before we even give it a chance. And that goes for the guys who are like, "Oh, this isn't for me. Oh, this isn't for me."
You haven't watched it yet.
No, you haven't watched it yet. You
nincompoop. All that will change. All that will change. Why? Because I have a feeling at some point or some part, maybe, and I don't know, maybe you already know this, but is Brie Larson going to appear at least sometime during this series?
I'm counting on it.
I'm convinced that she might, and she probably will. But I think that's when everyone will flip the script. Oh, this is a great show. Yeah, well, bro, come on.
I think not only that, I also think that they're going to make this important in the MCU. Like you have to see this to understand some of the movies that are going to happen. So I think if you do that, you make people actually watch it and then form their own opinion instead of just reading someone else say something. And when you do something like that and it's a good show, only positive things happen.
Yeah. And, I don't know. I thought this was such the way it starts with the drawings. I love that animation. The animation was, and then it stuck it through the entire episode on the walls when they're texting each other. I thought that was brilliant.
So cool.
That was good.
The
neon signs,
windows and all that. Yeah, I like that.
I was like, how are people saying like, oh, this is more for a preteen girl? I was like, it's so fun to watch. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was expecting more of like a Gossip Girl kind of stupid like kind of thing. I was if you into Gossip Girl, but I was expecting like a CW preteen show. Like a Riverdale or something like that. I mean, if it's your thing, it's your thing. I didn't care for it. But
you got a problem with Archie?
But that's what I was expecting. Yeah. But that's what I was expecting. And this wasn't. It was just a fun show. And I think it can pull in younger like girls who obviously Marvel is lacking that audience, because like, little boys from 5 to 40 love Marvel, and obviously the girlfriends and wives are going to go, but little girls, they're like, whatever, I think this is going to be able to pull them in, which is obviously the goal of it, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be a good show, like
exactly.
I think it was really, really, really good that people, I know Brian brought it up, but the whole generational trauma, like Disney's hitting that shit super hard. Panda, was it the panda? Red Panda?
The Red Panda. Red Panda.
Yeah, turning red.
Turning red. Yeah. Turning red. Yeah.
They did that with the movie that came out before that too, Encanto. It's like, and now they're doing it again with this, but in live action, it's like, yeah, generational trauma from parents, and they keep telling her like, oh, you're too short, and like she's like, oh, it's good, even like the part where she says like, oh, did you hear about blah blah blah? She went traveling around Europe. Like, who does she think she is? And then and Kamala was like, good for her, and that's such a funny thing because that's such like
shut up.
Yeah, like you don't know what you're talking about. She needs a husband, like very generational kind of trauma kind of stuff that you would get like that. So I thought that was super relatable, especially for like a little kid, like maybe like 8 to 12, kind of kid could definitely relate to that. So I think it's gonna pull in more audience, which is good. Like these fanboys are like, oh no, I don't want these people or this kind of group in the Marvel, audience. It was like the more people that like the show, the more better, the more broader, the bigger we can make the actual universe. So
yeah, the very diversity that they're so against or so opposed to is something that the Marvel universe and a lot of different universes in general contain and advocate and enforce. So if as far as I'm concerned, if you have that big a problem with that, you don't get to call yourself a fan. That's how I feel.
You're a person trying to complain about something, which in today's world isn't too hard to do. There's a lot of stuff you can complain about, so I don't know. So we'll get a little time before Brian comes back. But anywhere you want to, I know you're already we're all kind of hitting on it, but where do you want to see this kind of go? I know no one knows much, none of us do, but where do you guys want to see it go from here? Start with Brandon.
I think that I'm kind of torn between whether Kamala will use her powers to kind of, like maybe like kind of build up her reputation at school. Be a kid. As far as her powers go. Obviously, she's going to use it to be like the very heroes that she idolizes. So that's coming really, really soon. I am curious to see a little more about that agency that popped up with the Stinger that wants to bring her in. I'm really curious as to who and what they are, because it's very obvious that they aren't SHIELD and they aren't. I don't even think they're SWORD.
They showed up in the last Spider-Man movie. The same guy. He was the guy interrogating Tom Holland.
Wait, holy crap! Yeah. I forgot all about that.
Yes,
that sure was him. That sure was.
I don't
him.
remember who they were.
Yeah, I forgot who they were. My bad. I completely forgot about that. Holy crap. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. So yeah. But yeah, I think she's gonna lean like full on into that, to the part where she's not gonna be listening to a word that her mother says. She said she wants to be cosmic at the end of the episode. That was her final line. So she's gonna lean way into that, which I'm interested to see. And I'm sure Bruno's essentially going to be her like her Ned, her man in the chair,
guy in the chair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think the next episode is going to be her, kind of, making her costume and like maybe like stopping petty crime in New Jersey and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool. What about you, Martin? Where you wanted to go?
I see it differently. I see she's going to be a little bit mischievous at first, but feel guilty about it all. And I think Bruno and her are going to probably end up having a small argument of the way she's working it, or she's going to be in a situation where she has to do something bad. Because I think it's going to come out. People are going to find out eventually, somehow, some way. She's going to be in a predicament and probably balance between Bruno, her parents, and her own choices on how it's going to reflect on what she's going to have to do. And I think she's at some point, this is all going to turn into there's going to be a turning point. I want to see where it goes. I want to see how how they're going to develop this. Maybe the agency has a lot to do with it. Or maybe she has to make a choice between those four: herself, Bruno, her family, or the agency. Like, something's got to give, because this is all new to her, and she idolizes Captain Marvel, and I want to see how this will intertwine with bringing Brie Larson if she makes an appearance. Like, overall, if they bring in Brie Larson into this series, at least the last episode, that'd be great. But then again, I don't know if that's a possibility. I don't. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of conflict decision making in the last couple episodes while she's discovering herself.
Yeah, I mean, Brie Larson could stop filming Nissan commercials for
yeah.
days.
You can skip the next 5 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What about you, Brian?
I think they're going to follow the Spider-Man scheme, the blueprint. They're going to do straight Spider-Man all the way. Like, and it's a winning formula. And you have a kid who is charismatic and people tend to like, and it brings in all your fanboys. And Bruno is just Ned plus whoever the love interest is in one person. So literally you can still follow the exact same thing and still, as you said, stopping petty crime, trying to figure out the powers, and even how Shazam did, figuring these things out, figuring out how much I'm going to do for me, how much I'm going to do for the city, and it's just going to be a good series, just like that. I see Spider-Man all the way.
Yeah, dude, that was exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking like also the Turning Red, which makes sense because Disney just came out and it already kind of has a lot of the same vibes with the family I'm getting. But same thing, she gets this power and then she kind of is a little selfish with it, hurts somebody, and then stuff like that. But obviously I think it's gonna go more Spider-Man, where she's gonna do stuff and then somebody's gonna get hurt and then she's gonna realize, she goes, oh, I have a responsibility.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Spider-Man.
So yeah. So I'm more interested on how the family, mainly the mom, is going to react to her having the powers, because she's already calling her rebellious and she's not a good kid, even though she's a great kid and this and that. But it's like, you're not doing exactly what I say, so therefore you're a bad kid.
I think the brother finds out first.
I can see that. I guess
Either
she's
him or
going to
the
be the
father.
last one. Yeah, for sure. The mom's going to be the last one, and I think she's going to be even more upset at that. Which said, it was really good at deflecting questions about spoilers. Brie Larson. Oh, was she? Yeah. I know there's a picture out where Brie Larson and her are like on Zoom or something.
Oh, really?
That came out, but I mean that doesn't necessarily.
She's
mean
all
Brie
over
Larson's
the place though. She has like a poster in the back, and it's clearly Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. Like she is there. So it's interesting that, but like what you're saying, deflecting the questions about it. Like, yeah, they're not bringing it up or anything, but they're throwing things out there about her
everywhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the very first scene was in a room, and you can see her, during her Captain Marvel pose, and it's clearly Brie Larson. Like, it's clear as day. Nobody else.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I also like how they have some of the drawings are from like the comic book, like straight from the comic book, Carol Danvers, which is kind of cool too. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Brie Larson does show up. I think that would be the best way to go, but it probably won't be until the very, very end. It would be a setup for the movie. I think.
Breaking the bank
for the Marvels. Yeah.
Breaking the bank for that.
So real quick, one last question. What if it's not Brie Larson, but Monica Rambeau?
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting as well. I think, just considering the huge, the huge fangirl for Danvers that Kamala is, obviously you'd think, obviously you'd assume that Danvers herself will show up. But if it's Monica Rambeau, I'd be fine with that as well. Or hell, both would be cool.
What if it was Monica Rambeau early? Like she's in charge of that committee, that group that's following these kids, and she's the one in charge. And she's like, going to be like episode 3. We see her, and now she's just like, well, I know Carol Danvers. I'm going to tell you some things about her that she was growing up. She was my aunt, like when growing up, all this stuff. So can share personal information, without having to bring Brie Larson in right now.
That'll work.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, I was more thinking like right at the end, she's looking up at the sky, and there's this shiny, flashy silhouette of a woman coming down, and who else can it be but Brie Larson? And it gets closer, and it winds up being Rambo. Like they're like, hold on, you're not. And she goes, oh no, I got some stuff to tell you about blah blah blah. And I can see how that ends, and like then that leads into the Marvels. Because
hey, we need your help. Let's go.
yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what the Marvels is gonna be about, except for it's gonna have those 3 in there.
Oh yeah, they've been keeping a lid on what exactly it's about.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything.
Good.
Yeah, which makes me all the more excited for it. And friggin' Nia DaCosta's directing it, who did the newest Candyman. So I think that's going to be interesting.
Hey, that's one. That's one.
Oh, we did have that discussion a couple weeks ago. Oops.
Oh, that's 2.
All right. Oh man. But cool. Luckily, we only got. Well, I don't know if you could way you look at it. We only got 1 episode rather than bunch of episodes like how other things are doing. So next week we're gonna talk about not Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel episode 2. I don't know how many episodes this one's even gonna have. Is it like another 9?
I think it's somewhere between 6 and 8. I think
6.
6.
Another
6.
Yeah.
Yep.
6.
Yep.
You don't
July
want to
13th.
You don't want to fight with Love and Thunder that much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So 6 episodes. We already got 1 down, 5 to go. So yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about all of those as they come out every Wednesday.
For sure.
Well, cool, man. Anything else? Appreciate Sandy coming in with the question. Thank you. But anything else before we move on?
It's going to be a very good series if people give it a chance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And as obviously I'm not trying to tell people what to do, but you think as fans, you'd be a little open-minded and at least not knock it until you give it a shot. But
I say as humans, be open-minded.
Yeah.
Just don't knock it until you give it a shot.
just as decent humans, period. Everyone's so quick to kind of just leap to conclusion. Oh, this isn't for me. Oh, blah blah blah. But you in the end, you do you though. I'll be watching.
Yeah, I'm watching. And I heard a lot of people. They're like, oh, because a lot of people got early screeners of episode 1 and episode 2, and they're like, I'm really not that excited about it. I was like, I was super like hyped at the end of episode 1. I was like, I want more. Like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I was like, just dump the
nice
last of the episodes on there.
I know. We're like, no, we're not Netflix. So, yeah. Anything, Martin, before we get out of here? Any last words? All right.
We lost him.
Can't hear you, buddy.
My bad. I had my mic muted. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So thanks for everyone watching. If you're live, stick around. We're gonna do another show. If you're watching on replay, appreciate it. Leave a comment. Let us know what you guys thought about episode 1 of Miss Marvel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Come back every Monday and Wednesday for our live review, so you can be part of the show. And we appreciate everyone. We're at 230 something subscribers, so that's awesome. I it still blows my mind. Yeah, that blows my mind. So I appreciate everyone hanging out, coming in, and chatting with us. And if it's not your thing, let us know. Why you don't like this episode. What's the reason? If you don't care about it. You just don't like the character or whatever. Let us know in the comments, and let's chat about it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But that is it. If you're watching live, stick around, and all the replay people, appreciate y'all.
Thanks, guys.